Hi, this is Karen White of Divine Time Astrology. Are you loving watching videos and reading books on Vedic astrology, but would like to get your personal questions answered in real time? Are you confused and overwhelmed about what to study first and then what to study next after that? Are you more of a hands-on learner, and do you prefer live interaction with the teacher and other students? Well, if you are, registration is now open for the Astrology Lab. We will be starting on February 16th at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It will be a live webinar format on Zoom, and we will meet weekly. You must be a beginning astrologer studying with Ernst Wilhelm on his astrology-videos.com site. To get all the details and to register for the class, the link is below. Okay, now, are you an astrologer? I'll be showing you the chart of Linda Goodman, the astrologer that is famous for her books and for inspiring people to study astrology. She was the first astrologer whose work I read, I think when I was about 12 years old. It was the sun signs, and I read it over and over and over again. So now we're using the Gemini technique here again, and to be an astrologer, K2, the south node of the moon, has to be involved in one of the career personal points in the chart. K2 rules psychology, astrology, sales, I think sales and psychology go together, astronomy, and mathematics. So, if you have K2 in a self position in your chart, or in what is called the pada, which is the foot of the ascendant, or the upapada, then you have K2 in the right place, and you need to have the 8th house lord, the house of the occult sciences, which is what astrology is, involved in one of these personal points that I've mentioned to be an astrologer. And this is especially if you want to do it as a career. Okay, so Linda Goodman, her Upmakaraka self-producer planet is Jupiter, and here's Jupiter in Capricorn. Now, it's not aspected by K2, so that is not how we're going to see it. Also, if K2 is in the pada, aspecting the pada, or in the second or the second, third, or fifth from the pada, that also helps you to become an astrologer. Okay, so let's find her pada. The way that we do that is we look to see, okay, the ascendant is in Leo, which means it's ruled by the sun. So we count from the ascendant to where the sun is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The sun is in the 9th sign from Leo. You count Leo as well. And then from where the sun is, counting the sign the sun is in, we go 9 from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this makes Sagittarius the pada, which is the foot of the ascendant here in Leo. This is a career house for her. From the pada, because the pada is in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is a masculine sign, we count in a clockwise direction, as we normally do when we look at a Vedic astrology chart, South Indian Vedic astrology chart. Now, if it were in a feminine sign, like say if it were in Virgo, we would count counterclockwise, but we don't have to do that. So we're going forward, 1, 2, 3, and K2 is in the 3rd from the pada. So this makes K2, this helps her to become an astrologer. Okay, now we look to see if the 8th house lord is involved. And we see here that the 8th house lord is also Jupiter. Well, Jupiter is her Atmakaraka planet, and it is ruling the Pada. So that's the connection to the 8th house lord. If we look at her Atmakaraka Jupiter in the Navamsha chart, we see that it's exalted in the sign of Cancer. Well, Jupiter is one of the Brahmin planets. Jupiter and Venus are the two Brahmin planets. And when your Atmakaraka is in a Brahmin, it is a Brahmin planet and or in a Brahmin sign, which would be one of the water signs, then that means that you can do Brahmin work. Being an astrologer is considered to be Brahmin work. It's also the planets that rule advisors. Jupiter in particular is philosophy and wisdom career. It's also the planet of scientists and lovers of knowledge. Lovers of knowledge who have compassion for the suffering of mankind and who want to do something to alleviate, to help that suffering. So we see here that her Jupiter is exalted in the Navamsha. It's with Rahu, and in that sense, Rahu is an inventor. He's very future-oriented. She was the first person to write an astrology book that made the New York Times bestseller list. Now, we don't see Ketu here aspecting Jupiter in the normal way that you would expect it to. But it doesn't matter because she has Ketu here in the 3rd from the Pada. And there's not even a need to calculate the Upapada, though we can, just because, if we want to. So we see the 10th cusp here is in Taurus. So that means we look for Venus. Well, Venus is, if you go all the way around, you can see it's in the 12th position from here, from the 10th Bhava cusp. So going 12 from here, we end up here. And this is Pisces, so that's the Upapada. And from the Upapada, going in the opposite direction, because Pisces is a female sign, we have to go in the opposite direction. Ketu is in the 2nd from the Upapada. And to help you to be an astrologer, you need to have Ketu in the 2nd, the 3rd, or the 5th from the Pada or the Upapada, or in or aspecting one of the south points in the chart, like the ascendant, for instance, or the sun or the moon. But in this case, we see that it's the 3rd from the Pada and the 2nd from the Upapada. I don't really know that much about her personal life. I'm not sure like when she got into astrology and how far she took it. I know she wrote a lot of books, but I'm not sure if she practiced full-time as an astrologer or not. But she's world famous. Everybody knows who Linda Goodman is. So let me see if there's anything else to tell you about this. Now, Mercury is aspecting Jupiter as well as the moon. And this is a person who likes to write. Now, we also usually need to have the 3rd, the 5th, and the 9th houses involved too. So the 3rd house here is Libra, so that's ruled by Venus. So Venus is in Aquarius, it's in Aries. And it's not directly, well, it is actually, it's aspecting the moon right here. Though it's not aspecting Jupiter, her Atmakaraka, but it is aspecting the moon. And then the 5th house for creativity, well, that's Jupiter. Jupiter is the Atmakaraka. And then the 9th is also Jupiter. Again, the Atmakaraka. And the Atmakaraka is aspected by the moon. And that's what she's famous for, is writing about astrology. She's written sun signs, love signs, star signs, relationship signs, Venus trines at midnight. It's obviously another, they're astrological verses about lions, rams, bulls, twins, archers, and other signs, sun signs, and you. Let me see, what else can we find out about her? She was an American astrologer and a poet, and she's notable as being known as the author of the first astrology book to make the New York Times bestseller list. Okay, so, but you can be an astrologer and not be a writer. It's not required, though I have to tell you, as a full-time astrologer for the past 8 years, I have never done so much writing in my whole life. From blog posts, writing curriculum for classes. There's a lot of writing involved. Unless maybe you just do everything on YouTube. That's possible too. Okay, so once again, I just want to remind you that if you want to learn astrology, starting from the beginning, taking the beginner's courses and getting some good foundation underneath you, the Astrology Lab will be opening up starting February 16th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And there's a link down below where you can go to my website where all the details about it are. Stay tuned because I will be posting more birth charts of astrologers and showing you how, using the J-Mini technique, you can see if you're an astrologer. Thank you for watching, and until next time, good night.